Weekend now kicking into full gear, it appears that pride in America is nearing a historic low. According to a new Gallup poll, just 39% of Americans said that they took extreme pride in the U.S. That's only 1 point higher than last year's record low. And that number was 4 points higher back in 2021 and 16 points higher when Gallup first asked this question back in 2001, after the 9/11 attacks. Meanwhile, a new Fox poll shows 64% of Americans think that this is the best country in the world to live in, but that is down 5 points from 2021. The poll also finds 48% think the nation's best days are behind us, and only 43% think the best is yet to come. The pessimism markedly higher from 2 years ago when 52% said America's best days are ahead of us. You know, Morgan, what really makes me so sad about these numbers, frankly, is that did it take 9/11 for Americans to really unilaterally feel that they are proud to be an American and proud to live in this country, proud to have freedom?
Well, these numbers make me incredibly sad because I don't think it's great for our country. You should be proud to be an American no matter who is in the White House. I do have some hope, Cheryl. I think about what the 1970s were like before Ronald Reagan came in and he was able to instill that pride in America again. I remember vividly 9/11. I was a sophomore in college. I remember those days afterwards and how we unified. So I don't think it's too late. I think that can happen. But I will tell you that this corrosive attitude that we're teaching to our young people will be hard to reverse. You know, when young people are told that this is a terrible nation that was founded on white supremacy and everything about it is awful, well, it should be no surprise that those young people then grow up and don't want to fight and die for this country. And that's why we're having record low retention, record low recruitment into the military. Yes. So I don't know who's going to come in and instill pride in our country again, pride in being American. But the thing that worries me is these corrosive things that we teach young people. When they hear that in their formative years, it's going to be hard to reverse that as adults.
Well, Kara, is that why the military is missing recruitment goals by as high as 25%? That these kids don't want to go and serve our country? Is this because of the messaging they're getting from the progressive left? Is it the messaging they're getting on TikTok that says that the government is evil? You know, Lib's TikTok you mentioned, which is another story. But is it social media is what they're ingesting that they don't believe that we're this great? Because frankly, we are.
I do think that has a lot to do with it. And I think, as the Wall Street Journal pointed out a few days ago, they said that legacy families whose whole idea is serving in the military, that's the profession, that is what the family does, they are dissuading their children from serving. My grandfather served, my father served. He's a 30-year-plus veteran in the Marine Corps. I'm a Navy wife. And, you know, as we mentioned, I have a daughter as well. I'm not so sure that I'm going to say you should go into the military like I wanted to do. I ended up being a civilian in the Department of Defense, but I think that is a particular problem as well. And I did the corny forth. I read the Declaration of Independence, and I saw what these men said. And what I think we're doing right now is we're not teaching our children about their inheritance. They said, we mutually pledge to each other, the founders, our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor, and they trusted in God to see them through. We're not, as far as I know, seeing that permeate through the classrooms or social media at all. Quite the opposite.
You know, I was looking at America's best days are ahead of us or behind us, Kelly, and the one that stood out to me was in 2017, 62% said the best days are ahead of us. And now it's 43%. 2017 was a completely different time in this country.
Yeah, President Trump was president then. You know, it occurred to me, as you both were speaking, President Trump gave this speech. It was near the election, maybe a month or two before, and it was essentially about a patriotic education. It was absolutely beautiful at the National Archives, and it was positive and uplifting and about instilling tradition in our children and respect for the Constitution and the flag. And it was derided as dark, gloomy, dim by the media. And that's part of the problem, is the media taking us to this moment in our political life and political system. I took my daughter out yesterday. She had an America Bowen, an America dress. 2 days in a row she did that. Compliments far and wide from everyone. So I do believe it's still alive. We just need to, like, rev it up a little.
I think it is. You know, Kevin, who's probably really grateful to be celebrating the 4th of July tomorrow, is Brittany Griner.
Absolutely. And she has the experience.
She changed her tune.
Yeah.
Boy.
No, 100%. And I think, pride in America needs to transcend politics. We can't view pride in this country through our political lenses, whether they be Republican or Democrat. Tomorrow we celebrate 247 years of this incredible experiment. And to Kara's point, the founders, if you're frustrated with this country and the direction of the country, the best thing is you have the ability to petition your government, to protest in the street, to run for office. So if you want to see a change in this country, make that change. But again, to your point about Brittany Griner, living under an authoritative regime in terms of her prison sentence in Russia is a real strong education for her and should be an education for all of us that we live in the greatest country in the world.
You can protest here, but you can't protest in Iran, pretty much.
Amen. And we're seeing what's happening to the women in Iran right now who are protesting in the street.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we've got a lot more coming up. Stay with us. President Biden sure does love his Ray-Ban sunglasses, but he may not need them for much longer. His administration is now showing support for a plan to block the sun's rays from hitting the earth.